Welcome back to the continuous ridiculous amounts of expanding and collection buying that continues to just go out of control at the fastest rate of change you've ever seen slapped anywhere, because that's how we roll at Timmy's Emporium, Part 3-2B, 3.141527669. Okay, first thing, we got a small collection over here. I took out the good card. Rudy! Enclosed is my collection of Magic the Gathering cards. I started playing back in the winter of 94 when I was attending training school in Alabama. As things were finally starting to slow down at the end of my training, one of my fellow flight members, John, introduced me to the game. He taught me the basics of the game and design. John and I were unfortunate enough to go to our tech school together. So in Mississippi, we used both to play against each other in tournaments in local areas. After that, I was assigned to a base in Oklahoma. Man, you've been everywhere, bro. That particular job took me all over the country. I got to see almost every state around. I ended up with quite a pile of cards. Unfortunately, 3 years after I was back in Alabama, there were no local Magic scene left. I wasn't traveling anymore with no one to really play against. I stopped playing. The collection, however, was carried with me for the next 20 years till I retire, sitting quietly in my closet, unused and underappreciated. Stumbled across one of your videos, gotcha, where you were showing old stuff that had been resealed. Another one where you talk about identifying fake cards got me to thinking about selling my collection. Here we are, very respectfully, Dr. Ron, pilot, surgeon, international businessman. Ron, thank you, sir. Godspeed to you. Glad you're in good health. Take care of yourself. Don't blow all the money on terrible things that I would do, like buy more cards. These are Ron's highlights. He said, Rudy, let's share with the world. All right, Force of Will. We're going to go right to it as always. Place it a Force of Will, the most underpriced, ridiculous underpriced Alliance card in 2019. All right, a horse. That's cool. Suchi, still cheap as crap. What is this, like 30 bucks? Cheap as anything. Meekstone, reserve list, cheap. Dampening Field, and reserve list, Antiquities, cheap. Rudy's Gate to Fire. I need to stop buying this card. Good God, I think I just broke 200. That is a great card, undervalued. Spectral Cloak, another one of these Legends random cards that you just never heard of. You don't recognize the artwork, and you're like, what is this thing? A 2-drop enchant creature cannot be the target of anything? How have you never heard about it? You just haven't, because you remember, Legends was a set with 8,000 cards in it. Chain Lightning, great card, super cheap still. Haunting Wind, same thing, reserve list Antiquities, super cheap, just like the Gate to Fire Rexia and whatever the other card was, I can't think. Dampening Field, I know everyone's like, Rudy, what do you do before you turn on your camera? You don't want to know, because I am just like, oh my God, what's happening next? Dampening Field, another one of these reserve list buyouts from a couple years ago. Price didn't stick, back down to being super cheap. A little beast. I put him in the video because he was in the pile and he's cute. That's all I got. Another horse, and horses are cool. All right, should we talk about Obulet? I don't even know, by the time this video is filmed, I wouldn't be surprised if the spoilers for like Modern Horizons have already announced they're reprinting this card. I would not be surprised. Remember, I'm going to restate it over and over. If and or when, when they re-announce the reprint of this card, I don't care how much the price, if the price of Arabian Nights version of this actually drops, for the love of God, I am going to buy. If this thing drops to like, I don't know, what's it at now, like 20, 30 bucks? If this thing goes to like $1 to $10, I'm buying them all. I'll buy up to 1,000. I don't even care, because it's hilarious. If people panic and start selling the originals, I'm all over it. Like Rudy on a cheesecake next to your ex. I don't even care. Citadel Druid. It is Citadel. I don't care. It's not pronounced Citadel. I call it Citadel. This was a target for a buy a while back ago. It's cheap. I'd still buy it if you can get it. Mana Vault. I do not recommend buying and investing in Mana Vaults, especially revised, even in bad condition. This is a heavy played, rough, bad one, but again, it's revised. Print run of revised is through the roof. I know. If you're going to go after it, go for the unlimited with the bright colors, the way more rarity on the card. But again, if you want white bordered old original, get revised because it's cheap. Underworld Dreams, another one of those cards. Super cheap, not reserved list. Amazing card. Blows my mind the Legends version is still 10, 20 bucks. Mystical Tutor, same thing. Just cute. That's all I got. Copy Artifact, great card again. Super cheap, super underappreciated. Alpha beta versions have already gone through the roof. Revised Unlimited, I think, will follow. Magnetic Mountain, doesn't matter. It's an Arabian Nights. It's not a mass-produced common. Mountain, same thing. Arabian Nights, not mass-produced common. All right, let's get to these revised cards again. Tutors, uncommon, great cards for $20 range. Super cheap, buy them up. Doppelganger, don't care. She's hot. I love her. I'm obsessed with her. I'd buy as many as you can. Sinkholes, this was the card that was cut off before revised, so it's only an ABU only card. Super underappreciated. This is the only white bordered of this card in existence. If that doesn't get your motor humming, I can't help you because I can only do certain things in this world. This is just stupid. What is this sinkhole, like $20? Stupidly cheap. Doppelganger, Soul Ring. Okay, people were asking about Soul Rings last week. Hey, Rudy, you notice they're not like $10 anymore? They went up some. I don't know what the deal is with revised Soul Rings. It's not an AB Soul Ring, so it's not the super crazy expensive. It is an uncommon and a highly printed set. Again, compared to today's standards, revised is still pretty rare. But I can't get behind an uncommon card. Even the revised Demonic Tutor, I cannot get behind telling people to really invest in that because there's just so many out there. Wheel of Fortune, I'll be honest with you guys, I can't believe it took this long to go up in price. These things should be a couple $100 even for revised. The fact that you can get revised ones of these for still like under $100 is just dumb. That's just dumb. Okay, the thing that made me pretty much buy the collection, I know, you see that nasty surface dent, I know. The thing that made me buy this collection, the Unlimited Underground Sea, by far, that gets my motor twirling, man. This gets me wide open throttle, 2-stage turbo blow off. I mean, I am just into it. I don't care variable valve timing in your face. I love it. I'm excited. That card is nuts. Okay, Badlands. Had to check with my friend Tavis, the historian walking encyclopedia with 15 legs. Tavis did confirm with me this is not a blue pen mark. It is actually a misprint from the roller that some of the Badlands actually had. Because I wasn't sure. I couldn't tell if that was a misprint line or somebody literally just took a line on it to make me unhappy and cry like a baby. Turns out, that's a legitimate line from the factory. All right, revised. These are just some revised ones right here. We'll go ahead and just talk about these for a second. People have been asking, okay, Rudy, I'm starting to get into revised dual lands. I noticed the prices are starting to go back up. What do you think about them? I think, again, revised dual lands should be the cornerstone entry level. This is your gift bag as you enter pre-VPK. This is the core starting beginning builder's block of Bob the Builder of every reserve list collector, investor in the 3.6969% women. You need to have revised dual lands. They are the core building block. This is the foundation of which you build moving forward. They are going to go back up. I've been preaching it for 6 months now. Tutor, already talked about it. Citadel, already talked about it. Hunting Wind, that was the name. Power Artifact, this scares some people sometimes because, again, I think this is one of the waxier versions, and you notice the board is a little lighter than the dark black border on some of the other ones from Antiquities. Don't freak it out. God, I can't talk. Sorry, everybody. Don't let it freak you out. These are still legitimate. They're good cards. You need to own them because they're still under $100 on eBay. Super cheap, everybody. Thawing Glaciers, honestly, let's talk about this Alliances stuff. The fact that I think are these all reserve lists or is it just Thawing Glaciers? I know Lake of the Dead. I have to check. I apologize. Rudy does noresearch.com. That's a wholly owned subsidiary of Timmy's Emporium. I just can't believe Alliance's lands are still this cheap. That's all I'm going to say. I cannot believe they're that cheap. Maze of Ith. You know, the original dark version, the original artwork. Who makes that original artwork? Anson. You know, I love them, but I don't think they're ever going to go up in value. Blue Elemental. We got some commons back here and of some beta commons. Nothing crazy. Again, all alpha beta commons need to be purchased. Period. If you can get alpha beta commons, just basic cheap regular cards, you need to buy them. Well, it looks like we're already moving to number 2 here. Maurice, thank you, sir, my international friend from around the world. Some of the highlights of his collection he sent over, nothing too crazy. I think he just sent me a little bit. He wanted to see if I was a scam. And he actually got paid, and he seemed kind of surprised. I don't know why. So, he only sent me a couple dual lands here. Unfortunately, they're not very, definitely not very minty or nice. Same thing with the cradle. We got a nasty little gash on top of that cradle there. Yeah, see it? Ugh. But again, they are legitimate. All his cards are good. There is no actual inking. Cradles is one of the cards I get asked about. That is the number one card people ask me about when it comes to the Urza's block. Rudy, for the love of all that is goodness gracious, talk to me about the cradle. Buying these at $200, $300, $400, depending on condition, is the easy money been made? Should I not do it? Should I wait for it to get cheaper? No, it's not going to cool down in price because this is the problem, everybody. It's not that they're not going to get cheaper or more expensive. The problem is the people who have them, they know what they're worth now. This is 2019, folks. This isn't Rudy on a BlackBerry with his flip phone showing off to the chicks with his new Motorola Razr. People know what these are. They're not going to go down because the people who have them would rather keep them than sell them for $50 to $100 like they were back in the day. You need to buy cards like this, but they are condition sensitive. Remember that, everybody. Okay, so let's jump over to a few. Now, this is just cheaper stuff. I'm sorry, not cheaper stuff. The one more dual land, again, all legitimate cards, very heavy played. Remember, everybody, one of the things everybody misses is surface damage. That's one of the biggest things I look at with bright lighting is surface damage. It's what the PSA, BGS, home skillets, cheese fries, corn fritters, those are what the leaders of the universe look at. Surface. People, that's the number one thing. People go, well, Rudy, look at that looks great. Look at the little bit of dirt on the side. But dude, then you go, oh my God, that's like a 5 surface. So remember that. Okay, now we're getting some little bit of cheaper stuff back here. What I call the second, third tier. Some random little older reserve list cards, non-reserve list, Urza stuff. These are what I like to call kind of foo-foo Fugazi cards. They're kind of like 25 cents, 50 cents. Not some buy lists don't even do that. They just label them as bulk for like a nickel or something. The rest of these are nothing really exotic to show. I'm going to flip through just to kind of show you guys some neat little old stuff. But overall, these are cards that a lot of I hate to say it this way, but a lot of the entry-level Timmy speculators like to go after. They like to say, well, hey, I want to buy 100 of this cheap card. And, they're cool. Look at the artwork back then. Infamous Revive, anybody? I think they reprinted that in M13. Ixalan, but there's just not a lot of value in these, and I don't expect that to change anytime soon. And of course, I thought this was a great troll card, Timmy Power Gamer. And by the way, surprisingly, old foil basic lands actually people do buy for $1 or so. The problem is trying to get them in good condition because old foils just do not hold up good, folks. And the rest is just more commons. You can see Ice Age commons. So before we cut the video off today, to show some of the collections that came in just in the last couple days here, I want to share this. So I ended up acquiring one more box of, nope, not 4th edition, but good old alternate 4th edition from the United States Playing Card Company. There's been people asking me to do a video specifically on these, so I probably will do a separate video pretty soon. But I want to just say I acquired an alternate 4th summary. No, that's not Summer Magic. Yes, it's more expensive than regular 4th edition. And of course, last but not least, there are no inner seals. The cards are loose inside the decks. Don't let that freak you out. And that's about all I have. Remember, everything you see in this video is not for sale. I appreciate the endless offers after every time I do this every week. And again, thank you all for this loyal support. I'm glad I have the privilege of entertaining. And remember, if you want to be featured, do you want your cards featured? Do you want to share your story? Probably not. But in case you do, because you're doing crazy stuff in your life you shouldn't, AlphainvestmentsLLC at gmail.com. Attention, Captain Rudy of the 3rd Dynasty. Send me some pictures. Tell me what price range you're trying to get, and let's chitty-chatty talk. No lava claw reach-arounds, please.